How is everybody doing? Welcome back to the channel. As you guys see by the title, we're going to be discussing pass rush duos, and I'm going to be giving you guys my top 5 in order pass rush duos in the NFL. This offseason, we've seen edge rushers be thrown around like crazy. You got Cleo Mack going to the Chargers. Just yesterday, Za'Darius Smith signing with the Minnesota Vikings. Chandler Jones teaming up with Max Crosby. And Aaron Donald and whoever his pass rush duo partner will be this upcoming season. Who is the best? I'm going to give you guys in order 5 through 1 right now. Thank you guys so much for the support on the channel. Let's get right into it. All right, cool. So coming in at number 5, I have Aaron Donald and whoever the hell he is pass rushing with. This could be Leonard, Floyd, or Gaines, but I just think out of respect for Aaron Donald and the mismatches that he creates, he has to be 5. I mean, he could have a D3 outside linebacker playing with him, and they would still be a top 5 pass rush duo in the NFL. The reason I say this is just because mainly Aaron Donald, when he attacks from the inside and you have to put center guard on him, it's just an automatic one-on-one for whoever's on the other side of him. Von Miller this past playoff run, again, Von Miller is a phenomenal pass rusher, but Aaron Donald made him look like prime Lawrence Taylor. Von Miller was the number 1 rated player in the entire playoffs, and I'm not trying to discredit that from Von, but I think a lot of that credit has to go to Aaron Donald. He's the definition of when you play with great players, your game, it skyrockets. He makes the other players on that defensive line better. He's a leader. Just him and whoever it may be, Leonard, Floyd, or Gaines, they are the 5th best pass rush duo in the NFL. All right, so coming in at my number 4 spot, I have Frank Clark and Chris Jones of the Kansas City Chiefs. This is probably the most underrated and underappreciated pass rush duos in the NFL, mainly because I feel like they get most of the attention for the Chiefs obviously goes towards Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and just the offensive side of the ball. But what these two do on defense is incredibly underrated. Starting off with Frank Clark. Frank Clark he has this tenacity to him where it's this combination of tenacity and speed getting off the edge, which is incredible. And the reason they work so well together is because Chris Jones loves lining up in the inside. He's one of those guys, you can put him over the center, guard, tackle, really does not matter. The thing Chris Jones does so well is when he is lined up over the center or the guard, he opens up, just like Aaron Donald, one-on-ones for Frank Clark. These two work really well together, and the Chiefs have been honestly lucky to have these two. And I think they're just going to continue doing what they're doing heading in the next seasons, causing problems. You can chip one, but the other one gets one-on-ones. They've been together for a little longer than the other duos on this list, but I have them coming in at number 4. Coming in at my number 3 spot, we have one of the new pass rush duos, and that is Chandler Jones and Max Crosby. So Max Crosby and Chandler Jones, a new pass rush duo for the Las Vegas Raiders. Max Crosby last year had his kind of breakout year where he asserted himself as one of the more upper tier pass rushers in the NFL. Fuck me. And then Chandler Jones last year, if you remember, he came on the scene and he dominated. He had the 5 sacks, I believe it was in week 1 against the Tennessee Titans, and he kind of slowed up for the rest of the year. But Chandler Jones, he's phenomenal in the run as well, and I think last year he was battling with some injuries, kept him in and out of the lineup. But I think with those two together coming, because they're the most pure pass rushers out of all of them. They are pin your ears back, get to the quarterback. And the thing about Chandler Jones and Max Crosby is the thing that jumps out to me is just experience they have. I mean, that Chandler Jones, the way he will be able to help Max Crosby and maybe unlock some more potential and talent in Max Crosby, I think it could be incredible. But Chandler Jones, he's a monster. He's now in Las Vegas, and I have them as my 3rd rated pass rush duo in the NFL. All right, coming in my number 2 spot, I'm obviously going to go with Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. Joey Bosa and Cleo Mack, these guys could easily be number 1. I think, honestly, with any of these pass rush duos, you could flip them anyway. I mean, you could even put Aaron Donald and whoever his running partner this year will be at number 1, and I wouldn't be upset. But Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, I'm a Vikings fan. Khalil Mack is one of the most underrated players and still is one of the most underrated players in the NFL. When Khalil Mack signed with the Chargers or when that trade happened, I was almost shocked at the underreaction to the trade. And I understand it got a lot of pull. It's not like people were acting like this was not a big deal at all. Obviously, people were acting like it was a big deal, but I was shocked that people weren't automatically putting the Chargers as the number one contender in the AFC, because adding in a guy like Cleo Mack, who has been the number one his whole life as an edge rusher. He was always getting the chips. He was always getting the double teams. To pair him, he is still kind of in his prime, with a Joey Bosa in his prime, it's scary. And it's very scary for the rest of the AFC West, because if you get the 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, you are going to have 2 seconds to throw that football. And I have them at number 2. But at number 1, my homer, my Minnesota Vikings fan is going to come out of me right here. I have Za'Darius Smith and Danielle Hunter. Now, I think everybody in the NFL and just everybody in life has a recency bias towards them. And both of these players barely played last season. Danielle Hunter played 3 games. Za'Darius Smith played 1 game. And the year before that, Danielle Hunter missed the entire season with an injury. So Danielle Hunter, we haven't really heard from him since damn near the 2020 season. And Za'Darius Smith, before this past season, he did have 13.5 sacks. This duo, the reason I am so excited for it is because it's bringing back the Purple People Eaters, and it's bringing back an identity to Minnesota. And I think this is going to be the strength of the Vikings, is these two. With all these other teams, you know, if you're looking at the Chargers, it's still all about Herbert. If you're looking at the Raiders, I think it's more about Waller and Devontae Adams and Derek Carr. And then if you're looking at obviously the Chiefs, it's always about Mahomes. And if you're looking at Aaron Donald, it's really about Sean McVay and Matt Stafford. With Za'Darius Smith and Danielle Hunter, I think they are going to be the 2 main reasons why the Vikings win the NFC North this season. I think Za'Darius Smith and Danielle Hunter, I think they're going to kind of reassure everybody on not who they are as individuals, but they're going to put themselves as a duo on the map, not just as the best duo in the NFL. I think this could potentially be one of the better pass rush duos that we have seen in recent history. Danielle Hunter is one of those guys also where you can go throw on his highlights right now and his talent jumps off the screen. He has not played in 2 seasons, but in the 1 game he did play last year, or one of the games at Arizona against a very shifty, fast Kyler Murray, he had 3 sacks. Danielle Hunter, I think he's one of the more underrated players in the NFL, and he's definitely the most underrated edge rusher in the NFL. He is right up there with the Bosas, the Myles Garrett. He's there. He's in that upper echelon, that top 5. And Za'Darius Smith is right next to him. He's right there at the 5 through 7 range. So I think if you're looking at the Vikings, you can say we have a top 5 edge and a top 10 edge. I don't think many other teams can say that besides the Chargers, and I just went with, obviously, the Vikings. I think this is going to be one of the more fun years in the NFL, just seeing these duos come off the edge, terrorizing quarterbacks. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Let me know what you guys think. If I left your team's duo off, let me know. Tell me how much of an idiot I am down below. I love hearing that. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes.